This is actually an old workout from last week, but I hadn't got around to posting it. Pretty simple, dumbbell curls. I'm allowing for a little more swing on these, and keeping my palm further from my body to allow for more trapezius, infraspinatus fascia, teres minor, major muscles, and latissimus dorsi muscle activation. I'm still supplementing with raw sugar in order to increase my caloric intake. No notable effect on my resting blood sugar, which is still sitting at 4.2 nanomoles per deciliter. Oh, it's per liter, I think, actually. I have lost weight, though. I need to become more disciplined with my eating. So, that's the goal. Shalom.
Welcome the anointed ones. Be careful who you play with. Some people come with consequences you can't afford. Chosen ones, let me paint this picture for you. There are people right now shaking in fear. Not because you raised your voice, not because you threw a punch, but because they finally realized you are not the one to try twice. Fear has a funny way of working. Science even proves that when someone is terrified, their body releases a chemical called cortisol that literally eats away at them from the inside out. And that's exactly what's happening to them right now. Their own nervous system is punishing them for ever thinking you were weak. Here's the suspense they didn't expect. What they thought was a harmless game of deception turned into a nightmare that won't let them sleep. And let's be honest, it's almost comical when you think about it. They plotted against you, laughed at you, even counted you out. But now they can't even count sheep at night without trembling at what might be coming their way. This isn't just karma. This is the universe making an example out of them, teaching them that when they came against you, they came against something untouchable, something backed by divine law. And now, they won't dare think about trying you again. The fear they feel is not just about you, it's about the fact that they don't know when the hammer drops, only that it's already falling. So lean in, because what we're about to uncover will not only explain why they're shaking, but why their fear is proof that you've already won. Number one. Their fear is not of you, it's of what you trigger in them. They're not afraid of you because of how loud you can get, or because of any threat you've ever made. The fear comes from something much deeper, something they cannot run away from, what you awaken inside of them. Every time they see you, hear your name, or even think about you, their own reflection shows up. And it's not the version of themselves they like to show the world. You don't have to call out their wrongs, because your very existence forces them to face the shadow they've spent their whole life trying to bury. That's why they tremble. You become the reminder of everything they hope to keep hidden. People like this live off of projection. They thrive by blaming others, pointing fingers, and making noise to cover the truth of who they really are. But when they come across someone who can't be fooled by that performance, someone whose presence quietly exposes them without a single word, it terrifies them. Because now, they can't escape the voice inside that whispers, they see you. That's the part they fear. The exposure that doesn't come from gossip or revenge, but from the undeniable energy you carry that makes fakery collapse on sight. It's one thing to be disliked, and it's another thing entirely to feel uncovered. That's the power you carry without even trying. You don't need to argue with them because your growth already proves every lie they told about you was false. You don't need to clap back because the way you've healed and transformed is proof that their attacks couldn't stop you. And that's exactly why they're uneasy. They can't spin this anymore. You are living evidence that their version of the story is broken, and they know once people see you for who you really are, their entire mask comes crashing down. The trembling they feel isn't weakness, it's panic. It's the realization that you can't be manipulated, you can't be baited, and you can't be reshaped into their lie. And the truth is, it doesn't matter how long they try to run because you've already left a permanent mark in their conscience. You've become the mirror they didn't ask for, but the one they can never turn away from. And that kind of fear, it never leaves. Number two. They thought you were just flesh, but you moved like law. They thought you were just another person they could mistreat, test, or play games with. To them, you were flesh and blood, easy to provoke, easy to manipulate, someone they could deal with the same way they deal with everyone else. What they didn't realize is that you don't operate on the same level as ordinary people. When they came against you, they weren't just picking a fight with a person. They were colliding with a principle, with a spiritual law that cannot be bent, broken, or bribed. That's why they're scared now. Because they see that what's covering you isn't just strength of will, but something higher that ensures whatever is done against you eventually backfires. That's what makes you different. Human retaliation is predictable. People yell, they fight back, they expose secrets, they get revenge in ways you can prepare for. But with you, there's no formula, no timetable, no safe distance. You don't need to retaliate because the law that governs your life does the work for you. And this is what they underestimated. They thought their attacks would land, that their manipulation would hold, that their lies would stick. But instead, every single move they made against you turned into weight, dragging them down. It terrifies them because now they understand you don't fight fair. Not because you're cruel, but because you don't even have to get your hands dirty. The very energy of your life rearranges things in your favor, whether you say a word or not. That's why your presence feels heavy to them. They sense something beyond you that stands guard, something that makes it dangerous to tamper with your destiny. They can laugh at people, mock people, even ruin people, but with you they've realized the risk is too high. That's the fear they live with now. It's not fear of your retaliation. It's fear of divine retribution, fear of the consequences that no amount of cleverness or manipulation can escape. They know what they've done, and they know they crossed a line that doesn't forgive or forget easily. They didn't just offend you, they offended the order that surrounds you. And once someone learns that your life is protected by law, not luck, they'll never try you again. Because to try you is to pick a fight with the very forces that keep the world in balance. Number 3. Their fear comes from realizing they cannot control the narrative. For people who thrive on lies, control is everything. They survive by twisting stories, making themselves look like the hero while painting others as the villain. They've lived comfortably in a world they built out of manipulation, where their words could shape how others saw reality. But now they've run into a truth they can't rewrite. You, and that's where their fear comes from. They've realized that no matter how much they lie, your life itself has become evidence that cannot be denied. They can't spin it, they can't bury it, and they can't control the narrative anymore. When someone depends on lies to keep their image intact, truth is their greatest threat. The very fact that you're still standing, thriving and rising despite everything they did makes their version of events look foolish. They told people you wouldn't make it, yet here you are. They told people you were nothing, but your growth keeps proving otherwise. And with every step forward you take, their carefully constructed narrative cracks a little more. That's the kind of exposure they never planned for, the kind that doesn't need your words to tear their story apart. It terrifies them because once they lose control of the narrative, they lose power over people. Their lies only worked when others believed them. But now, people are starting to see for themselves. The contrast between who they said you were and who you really are is too obvious to ignore. That's why they're restless. It's not just fear of you, it's fear of everyone else waking up to the truth they've hidden for so long. And the hardest part for them is that they can't stop this unraveling. Lies have an expiration date, but truth doesn't. They know the clock is ticking, and every second that passes makes their mask harder to hold in place. They feel the weight of exposure pressing down on them, and it's eating away at their confidence. Their shaking isn't because you threatened them. It's because they finally understand the threat was never you at all. The threat was the truth you carry, and the fact that no matter how hard they try, they can't bend reality around their lies anymore. That's why they'll never think about trying you again. The cost is too high because once truth takes the stage, lies don't just crumble, they vanish. Number 4. You've become their unwanted teacher. They didn't plan on learning anything from you. To them, you were supposed to be small, manageable, something they could push around and control without consequence. But life has a way of turning tables, and now, without even raising your voice, you've become their lesson. Every misstep they took against you, every attempt to undermine or belittle you, has turned into material for their own undoing. You didn't have to lecture, argue, or prove a point. Your existence alone is the curriculum, and they are forced to attend whether they like it or not. Every sleepless night, every anxious moment, every fear-driven thought they experience is a class in humility they didn't enroll in. They are learning, bit by bit, that the world doesn't bend to their schemes when they come after someone untouchable. Their own strategies, their lies, and their manipulations are now teaching them the hardest lesson. The more they try to control, the more they expose themselves. They are discovering the weight of actions they once thought harmless, and they are paying tuition in stress, paranoia, and regret. You didn't have to orchestrate their suffering, they created it themselves. Your power isn't in retaliation, it's in their exposure. They're staring at consequences they never saw coming, forced to confront their failures in real time, and it's shaping them in ways they can't ignore. The lesson is clear and relentless. When someone crosses the untouchable, when they test the wrong person, the fallout is inevitable, and it always comes with a cost. They are learning respect the hard way, because respect isn't given to those who demand it. It is earned, and often it's taught by consequences rather than words. Your presence has become the teacher they didn't want but can't escape. And every time they replay what they did, every time their conscience reminds them of the truth, they are sitting in class again, learning the same lesson over and over. Testing someone untouchable is a gamble that never ends in their favor. Their fear, their anxiety, their sleepless nights, this is your silent syllabus, and they are doomed to study it until they finally understand the depth of what they challenged. Number 5, you carry consequences they cannot calculate. Enemies are comfortable when they can predict the fallout of their actions. They understand human reactions. They know anger, confrontation, gossip, and revenge have limits. But with you, the equation changes completely. You carry consequences that cannot be measured by ordinary rules, actions that unfold with precision beyond human comprehension. They may plan, plot, and scheme, thinking they can calculate every response. But what you bring into the world operates on a level they cannot anticipate. That uncertainty terrifies them more than any argument, insult, or physical confrontation ever could. The fear they feel isn't about what you will do in the moment. It's about what life, fate, or divine law will do on your behalf, often without your intervention. They cannot measure timing, method, or scale. They can't figure out if the impact will come immediately or years later, directly or indirectly, quietly or explosively. Every plan they hatch carries a hidden risk they cannot foresee, a consequence lurking